So I'm out here this chilly morning to get the niner going, and I need to go do one little more project for these gentlemen. So I'd like to get that out of my hair, and then while the roads are melted off and froze up, I'd like to go to get this home. So they got their fence around their filter cake pit that keeps people and animals and whatever out. So you can see how dry that is. It's soaking up the moisture in that pit going up the wall. That's the only thing that concerned me about that is what's that gonna do? It's gonna soak up all winter, and then depending on what kind of spring we have. So Killdozer's got some bad glow plug connections, especially on number 1 cylinder. She don't like to fire on them. When you heat the glow plugs, you should get each glow plug will draw 5 amps, so you should see 30 amps on the gauge, and I'm not seeing that. Not quite. So I think I got a dead one. So based on the fact this hasn't been started for a week, and I think it's like 19 degrees right now, and I'll heat this for a couple of minutes, so bring you back when I'm ready to chug. So I'm out here to pick up Killdozer. Gotta go over and get it running and then get this long angling thing turned around. load. I was thinking about turning around and coming back down here and loading somewhere. Anyway, got to get it out of here while the ground's still froze up good so I can get under it. I don't make a mess. I drove it from up there around here across the road yesterday, so I don't think I'm going to tear the road up. Anyway, I had to go clear down there in that corner and dig them another small pit in case they can't take it all up here this year. So parked it up on the lavas there so the tracks don't stick to the ground, make a big mess. So we'll see if we can get her going. So number one glow plug is one of them that gives me fits, so I pulled the connector up a little bit on the glow plug. So it looks like I got 5 glow plugs working this morning. And what I got to do to figure out which one's not working is heat them up and then stick my head under there and see which one's cold. I had trouble, I think, with number 4 or 5 before. I need a new harness, but to get a harness, I don't know if you can even get one. You'd have to build one. The ends are bad on it. It's not the best plug-in system on them. On the equipment, they don't have a boot over them to protect them from corrosion and the weather. So on my 14G, they have just little teeny pins, and then they have a rubber boot over them. And those work pretty good, other than they get cooked by the exhaust manifold on that on a 3306, and then the rubber boots kind of melt. But I wish they had a better system of attaching them. Even a square spade would be better than the round deals they have on them, but at least that way, if the end was bad, you cut it off and put another one on. I'm gonna stick my hand under there now. They should be plenty hot. Let's see which one ain't working. The other day when I started it, I probably only had about 3 cylinders working. 3's hot. 4's hot. 5's cold. I don't know what's going on there. Ow! 6 is hot. Woo, that one's working good. That burnt my fingers. 5's dead cold. If it's a bad connection or burned up glow plug. I just pulled it up and moved it around a little bit. Let's see if we get 30 amps now. No, still only getting 25. So number 5's bad. And the problem is you buy glow plugs from Cat now. They're made in China. They're junk. They might last a day. They might last a week. So on our D343s, where they're under that cam cover, hard to get to, we always find the old original Cat ones, which are either Bosch or what is their name, Welland, something, I don't know. Don't buy glow plugs from Cat. They're junk. It's like everything you buy from them now for this older equipment, it's not the original Cat good quality stuff. It's aftermarket garbage, and you can buy the same aftermarket garbage anywhere for half the money or less than half. All right, let's see she'll go. Yeah, we're not hitting on all of them. So I want to show you something. So I have to back all the way up here to transfer as much weight as I can to the back so I can pick this thing up. And if you notice, the ripper shanks, so that center shank is a 9 shank. These two outside ones are 8 shanks. So the 9 shank is in its longest hole, and the 8 shank is in its longest hole. You can see the difference in them. So if you take a D8T and back it up here, these are inside here, and they'll drag across the tires. I don't care if you got the ripper pitched in or pitched out, it won't clear these tires unless you put these up in the next tire hole. But well, like an old 46A or D8K, they'll go right over these. And even if this had 9 shanks in it, they'll go right over this, no problem. And that D8T I rented at one time, one thing I noticed about them is the rippers are down too far, and when you're backing up into a slope, those ripper shanks are always in the slope, and unless you raise them way up. And if you raise them into the next hole, you really can't rip that deep. That's one thing Cat needs to fix on their T-Series, is their ripper lift height. D8N will go on here fine and clear it, but a T, no way in heck. All right, so we're hooked up, ready to load. I've greased these ramps right here. Let's see if we can get under it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a piece of cake. Piece of cake. Told you, get some traction, you go right under it. So we'll throw some chains on her. Don't want to offend anyone here. Get out of here. So I think I forgot to mention on a D8T, so when you back up, those ripper tips are going to scrape over here, and when you try to pull forward, it's going to tear your tire right off. And that's what I was saying, is D8T is narrow enough that these will go right over these tires, and then when you try to pull forward, it just dig into them and tear them off. Been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. So D8Ts suck. Never hauled a D9T, so I don't know if the rippers are the same geometry as the 8s, but not impressed with them. These old 2-barrel rippers will lift 9 miles in the air. I mean, look at the clearance you've got from that point to the underneath of the machine. And on the T-Series, you don't have that, not even close. And the D8 I hauled didn't have a shank in the center, so I'm assuming it may drag on the iron and catch in that hole. Then you're really screwed. It's just a pain to have to raise those shanks up every time you want to move one. I don't want to raise and lower those shanks all the time. I just leave them where they are. If I raise that 9 shank up into the second hole, then it's higher than the 8 shanks. They just don't match. But you notice the 9 shank and that 1/8 shank over there have been extended, and the reason for that is I did a bunch of fiber optic pre-ripping, And then I also plowed in some fiber optic cable. We built a chute on the back of that shank. That's why they're extended. So the 8 shank has 2 holes on it, and the 9 shank has 1 hole. And I think with a brand new tip on the 9 shank, and then lower it down, I can get down 52 inches, which was plenty for them because they wanted a minimum of 48 pre-rip. So that guaranteed them that I was getting down there. Anyway, it's a lot to pull that deep in hard pan. Alright, let's see how long this GoPro will run. Might run 30 seconds, might run till the battery's dead. You just never know. you made it all the way. Hot dang. I got a helper. Awesome possum. Home sweet home.